everyone, it's James here. Welcome back to the channel and another edition of Recent Spins covering May 2025. Got my spin journal here. So May, I was well down on my record spinnings. It was only about, I think, maybe 13 records and a couple of CDs. It's just been really nice weather here in the UK, so I've been out in the garden, keeping busy. I've been on holiday to Scotland as well, so just haven't found quite as much time. Also, most of the stuff I listened to this month has been new finds into the collection, so I've only got about half a dozen records to show you today, but they're quite good ones. Quite pleased with the selection, so let's get cracking. So the first one I want to show, I listened to on the 21st of May, and it was this one. This is a rather battered copy, at least the jacket is rather battered, of Jimi Hendrix Midnight Lightning. So this is one of the posthumous Hendrix records, one of the ones done with the producer. Now I want to say Jack Douglas, but it's not Jack Douglas, is it? It's somebody else Douglas, Alan Douglas. I think he came in for some flack at the time because he, you know, Hendrix recorded an awful lot of music before his death that never saw the light of day, and this guy, Alan Douglas, pieced together these albums using studio musicians. The only track on this record that contains anybody from the original Jimi Hendrix experience, I think, is Hear My Train, third track on side one, which has got Mitch Mitchell on drums. All the other tracks have people overdubbed. You've got people here like Alan Schwartzberg, who was a very big session drummer in the 1970s. There's some pretty rocking tracks on this, it's got to be said. Hear My Train is great. Midnight Lightning. Trash Man, the opening song, is a bit of a Hendrix classic, I think, really. A cover of Blue Suede Shoes on side two, which is okay. Machine Gun, the second track on side two, which I think cropped up on another of the posthumous records somewhere down the line, is a great track. So yeah, very worthy, I think. I looked it up actually after listening to it, and there were some quite good reviews of it. So I don't think it's one of the ones which is most, you know, derided. I think it's quite a well-respected one. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I don't think the label's anything special on this. I think it's just, yeah, it's just bronze reprise label. So anyway, yeah, Hendrix, can't be beat, Midnight Lightning. Okay, so yeah, that was the 21st of May, so quite late in the month. Then the second thing I've got to show you is from the 23rd of May, which is 2 days later, and I really enjoyed this. This is a record that I've always really liked. I lost my copy of it several years ago. It just completely vanished from my collection. No idea what happened to it at all. So I was delighted to find a replacement copy. I think in Oxfam a couple of years ago. So this is the Jam and sound effects with the great cover design, which was based on the old BBC. I think it was the old BBC sound effects records that used to come out in the 1970s. There's a cat crying upstairs. I'm going to try and ignore her. So this was, I think this was the fourth record by the Jam. It's always been my favourite. It's the most Beatlesy one. It's got a couple of my all-time favourite Jam songs on it, that being That's Entertainment is probably my favourite Jam song of all time, and also Start, which is the track which is highly indebted to Taxman. There's just something very Beatlesy about this, and the songs are quite left field, quite interesting sounding, lyrically really brilliant. I think Paul Weller was definitely a bit of a poet. I love the kind of working class feel that he weaves into the lyrics, and I just think it's a very, very strong and very interesting record. Kind of sensational in a way, you know. It's it really is great. I think it's probably a bit underrated, and just in terms of the albums that came out right about this time. I think it's 1980, isn't it? Very forward thinking, very interesting sonically, and just a really, really great album. So love that. That's the Jam. Okay, so there's 4 records left, and all 4 of them, would you believe, are new records, as in they're not second-hand records. So there's a first for me, because most of the time I show second-hand tat, don't I? But all of these were either bought new, or in the first instance here, this record was actually given to me. It was some VCLT a few years ago by my good friend Pasi, here on the VC from Finland. I'm not going to try and pronounce your surname, Pasi, because I'll murder it. But I'll put your channel name on the screen. And this is really great. This is Dr. John and his album It's called The Sun, Moon and Herbs. It's by Dr. John the Night Tripper, and this comes from 1971. And Pasi sent me this a couple of years ago, or at least maybe 3 years ago. It could even be 4 years ago. You know how time flies. So this is a record that was actually made in England, and I don't know much about it. I've read Mac Rebennack's autobiography. I don't think he talks about this record, but there's some interesting guest appearances on here. Mick Jagger turns up doing backing vocals. Eric Clapton is meant to be on here doing slide guitar on the opening track, Black John the Conqueror, although I've listened to the song 3 times and I can't hear any slide guitar, but he's meant to be on there. A few other interesting people on here as well. Am I going to be able to remember who they are? Graham Bond on alto sax, Carl Radle, or is it Raddle, from Eric Clapton's band, Jim Gordon, the great session drummer, Bobby Whitlock is on here, also from Clapton's band, Doris Troy on backing vocals, Bobby Keys from the Rolling Stones, who was an American. But it's definitely got a bit of a British flavour to it in terms of who's on here. I suppose Bobby Whitlock is also American. Anyway, so this is one of Dr. John's strange voodoo night trippery records. You can sort of carve his career into 3 different types of record, I suppose. You've got the funky stuff, things like Gumbo and Decisively Bonnaroo. You've got his sort of American songbook records, and then you've got his strange swampy voodoo blues albums, this being one of them. So this came after Gree Gree, which was the classic one, which came out I think in maybe 69. 2 or 3 albums in between, and then he did this one, and it's really good. It's really swampy, it's really atmospheric. The lyrics are just absolutely brilliant. There's a song, hang on a minute, I'll just quickly show you the inner. There's a song on here, it's called Who I Got to Fall On If the Pot Get Heavy. And this is a very swampy, very strange sounding song with all these strange voodoo backing vocals, incantations and strange bells ringing, incense. It's really, really strange. I'll just give you a flavour of some of the lyrics. Ooh my lady, ooh my lady, ooh my lady, here I come. Oh, Kunas Zuzu man me, and I got 'em. I got Okera blossoms for your bow legs. I got cabriteers for your pigeon toes, mama syrup for your knock knees, bird eye vine that cure colic and what you see. And I got 'em. I got conjure balls, snake powder, get van oil. I got 'em straight down from the conjure doctor. Le bon de terre, hey mule, giddy up there. That's the kind of thing that we're dealing with. It's really, really good. I've been really, really enjoying it. It's not really a record for the summer. It's more one for a cold winter's night, but it still worked anyway. Really great artwork as well. So thank you very much, Pasi. It's been a couple of years since I've spun that one, but really enjoyed it. So yeah, Dr. John, the Night Tripper, the Sun, Moon and the Herbs. Right, so marching on. So on the same evening, so that was a bit of an evening of it, we had this record, and I could do with doing a special video on this. I don't want to rush this one really, but this is the Madcap Laughs by Sid Barrett, which is a reissue. I picked it up several years ago, a record that I had on CD back in the day. The first of 2 solo albums that he made after leaving Pink Floyd, after being booted out of Pink Floyd. The picture shows him in a flat that he shared with the artist, what was his name? Dougie something, wasn't it? This is a strange crash pad that they lived in London, and Sid famously painted the floor with stripes and painted himself into the corner, and his naked girlfriend in the background there. Such an iconic record, and just, you know, the gatefold is absolutely crazy. It really is. It truly is, you know, it's totally madcap. But this record, it's such a strange album. It's partly produced by David Gilmour and Roger Waters, and they take the main producer's credit, actually. It says produced by David Gilmour and Roger Waters, except, and then there's an asterisk, and it says a few tracks produced by Malcolm Jones, who was an EMI technician. I think he was an EMI engineer or producer, staff producer, and then a couple of tracks, or 1 or 2 tracks, produced by Sid Barrett and David Gilmour. But really, it's a bit disingenuous, because most of the album actually is produced by Malcolm Jones. The great run of tracks on side one are all produced by Malcolm Jones, I think. Terrapin, No Good Trying, Love You, No Man's Land, and Here I Go. All of them have that strange, acid-fried, Edward Learish kind of quality. You can hear that Sid he's starting to lose the plot, but he's keeping it together, and the arrangements are a little bit ramshackle. You've got really great drumming on here, I think, by Robert Wyatt. And how they did the record was, I think Sid would record his parts, the guitar and the vocals, and then the band would try and then play along with him. And Robert Wyatt does a really good job. His drumming is really spectacular. It's sort of ramshackle, but he's doing it deliberately. He's following the rhythmic shambolicness of Sid and somehow keeping it all together. So that really great run of tracks on side one. On side two, you've got Octopus and Golden Hair, which are co-productions between Sid Barrett and David Gilmour. And then the back end of the record, the only tracks produced by Gilmour and Waters are, I think, Long Gone, She Took a Long, Cool Look at Me, Feel, and If It's in You, which are the tracks which have hardly any production. It's just Sid at the microphone with the guitar, gradually losing the plot, really. And there was some controversy at the time as to why a couple of those tracks have been recorded, because the rest of the album, you know, you can make a case for it as being a proper album, so-called, whereas those tracks you can hear Sid coming apart at the seams. And I think Roger and David came in with some flack at the time as to why they'd recorded or why they'd allowed those songs to get onto the album. But anyway, it's a story for another day, but a really great album. Absolutely iconic. A stronger effort, I think, than his second one, which I still like. But The Madcap Laughs by Sid Barrett, just one of the defining post-acid singer-songwriter albums, really. Great stuff. So yes, that was quite an interesting evening of listening. Dr. John followed by Sid. Okay, so on the 30th of May, I dug this one out. Again, a new record or a reissue. This is the Dirty Projectors and Swing Low Magellan. Now this bunch, I think, are from Brooklyn, New York. David Longstreth is the main guy in the band. Very original singer-songwriter. He's been compared to all kinds of people. David Byrne, Frank Zappa. I suppose you'd describe his style as, it's kind of art rock, really. When you look them up, they come up really on Wikipedia as being indie rock, but I don't think that really does them justice. I think David Longstreth, he's a really strange, inventive songwriter, very melodic. He's got this lovely, keening voice, and he writes these really strange, zigzaggy tunes which don't seem to obey normal laws of either harmony or rhythm. You know, they somehow hang together. This is their sixth album from 2012, and it still featured Amber Kaufman, the female singer. I think that's her on the cover. I think this is David here. I've got a feeling that they were romantically linked, but then they broke up. That might have been the story. She left the band anyway after this record, I think. And she's a really great singer. She's got this just absolutely beautiful voice. Just a combination of the two voices, the male and the female. It's really beguiling. And there's some absolutely beautiful songs on this record. A couple of quite straight pop tunes, really. The way they arrange it, they use strange vocal effects as percussion and odd spot effects. You know, it's almost like music concrete at times. Really interesting. Gun Has No Trigger was the single from the record, which has got some really startling vocals from Amber Kaufman. But I picked this record up. I picked the CD up of this. The first record I got from them was Bit Orca, which was the one before this one, in the 2000s at some point. And then I bought this record on CD, and then when I discovered the vinyl community, this is one of the first records I decided to try and get on vinyl, because I'd enjoyed it so much. I saw the band live. I saw them in Manchester. I think might have been the Ritz in Manchester quite a few years ago now, and they were really good. I've not really followed their career though since then. I don't really know why. I need to pick up the thread. Anyway, really interesting band. If you've not heard this record, do check it out. Dirty Projectors and Swing Low Magellan. That's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah, Swing Low Magellan. And then finally, to bring things up to date, so this record and that one were yesterday, because I'm recording this on Sunday, the 1st of June. I gave this one an outing, or rather just the first record of it. This is a double album, Boards of Canada, and their record Music Has the Right to Children. So Boards of Canada are a Scottish duo. I've got their names written down here, Mike Sanderson and Marcus Eowyn. I think I pronounced that wrong. It's probably a Scottish pronunciation. This came out in 1998 on Warp Records, and I absolutely love the cover art on this. It's really strange. Boards of Canada, they make weird electronic music, glitchy, atmospheric. The main quality that it has is nostalgia. They really tap into that 1970s nostalgia, sort of floaty synths and just really ethereal, haunting melodies. But it's underpinned with this really heavy, glitchy, percussive stuff, almost drum and bass at times, but there's nothing generic about it. They carve their own identity completely as an electronic act. Usually I listen to this record quietly. It's almost sort of backing music, but I actually blasted it through the speakers really loud this time, and it sounded tremendous. The percussive stuff they do is really inventive. It doesn't sound like anything remotely preset-y. It sounds like they've processed or conjured their own percussive sounds into being from scratch. It's really cleverly done. I imagine they use a lot of vintage analog synths from the 1970s, and that's what gives it that strange, ethereal, melancholy kind of vibe. And the picture on the front taps into that. It's obviously a picture from the 1970s of a family on holiday on a beach somewhere, and the visuals and the music work together really well. So anyway, I just listened to the one record. It's a 2-record set, so I need to go back and spin the second album. But I thought I'd show it here now while that first record is fresh in my mind. So anyway, so there we go. The cat is crying again, so I better go. Hope you enjoyed the selection, and thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, commenting, liking, all the good stuff. And I'll be back soon for another video, no doubt. Take care for now. See you soon.